Hello and welcome back to Pokemon Showdown! My name is Spade, and special thanks to Kalbur Ezo, who made that awesome intro. And also thanks to the Del Rey, who I got the intro song from. And so today we are back on Showdown, and today I will be doing a post-commentary match, because this is a battle that I had, as you can see, I had it on November 16th, long time ago, and at the time I just thought it was a really good match, and it still is. And I just kind of forgot about it, and now I just found it again, and so I was like, hey, let me narrate this battle today. So that's what we got going on today. And also, Showdown has updated, and they got the new Pokemon X and Y. Awesome sprites here. Or I guess, you know, in the Pokemon X and Y, there's no longer sprites, but there's 3D models. But somehow, some people have managed to rip them off. I don't know, is it from the capture board footage, or has somebody actually managed to rip them from the games themselves? I don't know what's the case, but they have been able to rip them and made them into 2D sprites, and now Showdown has them too, and they're looking fantastic. Fan-diddly-tastic indeed. But I had this team at the time. I'm on the other side, by the way, because Showdown is weird like that. But I had this kind of a sand team, if you will, going on with Hippowdon and Excadrill with Sandrush. At the time I wanted to try it out, since Excadrill was freed from the Ubers, so to speak. And then I just built a team kind of around it. Not the greatest thing with two walls as grass types, but then I do have Heatran there, which is a cool cat. And then kind of Keldeo as my main special sweeper. But I got some solid defense here in the form of, you know, Hippowdon, Heatran, Chestnut, yes, I can remember the name, and also Among Us. And then, you know, got these two as the main physical and the special sweeper. And then on my opponent's side, there's big threats like Mega Kangaskhan, which is definitely trouble. We all know how broken that thing was. And also, looking at my team, Mamoswine is going to be big trouble, because the things that I have to take EQ will not be able to take Icicle Crash, and vice versa. So I really have to play carefully around it. And then Genesect is always trouble, you know, U-turning around. But I do have a Heatran for it. And then Infernape might be trouble, depending on the set it's running, because it's able to hit my entire team for super effective or neutral damage with its dual stab move, so it could be potentially trouble. Celebi not that worried, because, or Rotom, because I do have Among Us, and for Celebi I do have Heatran too, so shouldn't be too much trouble. But without further ado, let's just jump right into this match. I was rambling for way too long. So there we go. He's gonna lead the match with his Genesect, as I lead with my Chestnut, and right off the bat I'm gonna scout what is he potentially going to lock himself into as he goes for the Flamethrower. So obviously what I was thinking, hey, let's just go into Heatran, but he sees that coming and he proactively switches out and goes into his Rotom Wash, predicting me to go into his predicting me to go into my Heatran. So right off the bat, I see the game he's playing, so I decided I would stay in here, because also I knew that I could take, if it came down to it, I could be able to take one Hydro Pump. But the way he's playing, I know he's going to be making these big plays, so I was predicting he would go for the Volt Switch. Not really the best play, but it does work out. I did make the correct prediction, even though it was a risky one. And he does go for the Volt Switch, goes into his Mamoswine, I do get the Toxic off, and then I'm going to switch out, go into my Hippowdon. I just kind of need to do pivot switching. Like I was talking earlier, I have nothing that can safely switch into this thing. Because now, as I go in my Hippo to take the EQ, I'm threatened by the Icicle Crash. So I need to go into my Keldeo to take the Icicle Crash. So I need to do a bit of pivot switching out. But it does work out, as he does make the obvious moves, goes for the EQ followed by Icicle Crash. So I do get in my Keldeo safely, because had I gone into Keldeo to take the Earthquake, well, let's just say it would not have been able to take that Earthquake. Or maybe just left with a tiny little nub, but I do get my predictions off here. Get my Keldeo in safely, go for the Scald. At the same time, the Toxic was nicely racking up on the Mamoswine. And yeah, I just go for the safe Scald, hoping to get the burn, but it doesn't work out, especially since he goes into his Celebi, which would have the natural cure ability anyway, so I have no business staying in. I'm running a sub-calm mindset, so I'm gonna switch out, go into my Among Us here to hopefully take anything that he has to dish out. But he actually goes for the baton pass, so he's able to get the momentum going on. Switch out, go into his Infernape, and I'm threatened by the Flare Blitz. And I thought about going into Heatran, but there's a good chance that he will just go for the close combat, predicting that. So what I decided to go into my Hippowdon, because it is my physical wall. So on both of these scenarios, close combat or Flare Blitz, I should be able to take those hits. Except it turns out he's running definitely Choice Banded why was I saying Heatran? Infernape. He's running Choice Banded Infernape, as my Hippowdon was not able to take that hit too well. And here I needed to make a move, whether I'm going to keep my Hippowdon healthy, go for the Slack Off, or will I go for the Stealth Rocks. And I just thought in the long run going for the rocks was the better move, the optimal move, because as you have seen, there's so much switching going on in this match. So in the long run, Stealth Rocks would benefit me greatly, especially since he doesn't have a Defog user or a spinner on his team. And anyways, Celebi comes in, I go into my Among Us, but turns out he's got Psychic. I was really expecting this was a mono attacker with the Giga Drain, because I saw the leftovers, I saw the baton pass, it's usually Giga Drain, but he's actually carrying Psychic, so he's able to catch me off guard. In hindsight, should have gone into Heatran like I do here, but again, he sees that coming, so he's going to make the good play, go for the baton pass, and keep the momentum going on. But at least I now do have the Stealth Rocks up, and that should be benefit me greatly in the long run. But now he's going to be able to go into his Infernape again, and I fear that close combat is coming, so this time what I decided to do is go into my Among Us to take the close combat, because I should be able to, except he gets a critical hit, and because crits do 1.5 times the damage, I think without it, I potentially after lefties I could have been able to take one, because it would have done like 40%. But he gets a crit, so I need to do something else, change up my plans a bit, and go into Chestnut to take a hit. It's a physically defensive Chestnut, so I do take it relatively well still, and I do get an opportunity to set up some spikes here. So now I got one layer of Stealth Rocks and Spikes up, which is definitely going to benefit me in the long run, because again, as you can see, no spinners or default users, so that is pretty awesome. And so in comes the Genesect, and again I'm just going to scout what is he going to do with the Spiky Shield, and this time he actually goes for the Bug Buzz. So here I kind of make a stupid move, and I was just predicting that he would do the same thing as he did earlier, predicting my obvious Heatran switching, because Bug Buzz would do nothing. So I stayed in, and I foolishly lose my Chestnut because of that. But I do get the safe switch into my Heatran. I'm able to go for the substitute as he switches out and goes into his Rotom Wash. And unfortunately for him, he goes for the Hydro Miss, and you know, it happens, misses. I do get to keep my sub, and I am able to go for the Toxic. And unfortunately, he misses to Hydro Pump again. I don't know what I would have done. Most likely I would have just gone into my Among Us to take the Hydro Pump Volt Switch, go from there. But now this does buy me some momentum here, as I do get the Toxic off, get the Magma Storm, get the residual damage racking up on him. And here I thought he would break my sub this time, but he actually Volt Switches out, and since I'm running specially defensive Heatran, I'm actually able to take the hits and still keep my sub. But he goes in his Mammoth Wine. I had the Toxic on it from earlier, and since I have nothing that can safely switch into this Mammoth Wine again, and I really don't feel like going into my Hippowdon, which is already whittled down by the close combat, I decided I'm just gonna substall this Mammoth Wine, because yeah, the Toxic is racking up, and I was hoping that I would be able to knock him out this turn, but he actually still lives with 2%, so I need to go for one more sub, but at least I got my Heatran behind the sub, as the Mammoth One is dead, and I don't need to worry about it, and it was definitely big trouble for my team, so it's awesome to have this Mammoth One out of the way. And yeah, still sitting nicely behind the sub, except not really, because in comes Mega Kangaskhan, and the thing I was fearing here was the potential double Earthquake, which would definitely destroy me, and I need that Heatran for the Genesect, so I need to keep it alive. So I go into my my Hippowdon, but he actually still just goes for the Power-Up Punch. I'm pretty sure my sub would have been able to take one, and still live with my Heatran. I don't know, I guess the one power-up punch could have broken my sub, but I still would have been able to take it. But whatever that happens, he does go for the power-up punch and destroys my Hippowdon. And Mega Kangaskhan, big trouble. Nothing can really safely switch into this thing. So I need to be really careful playing around this thing. And the Sucker Punch is pretty obvious because Keldeo is faster. So I do predict that, and I go for the substitute right here. And I do get off the prediction. I do resist Sucker Punch, but I still wasn't comfortable whether I would be able to take a +2 Sucker Punch. You know, 2 Sucker Punches for that matter. The second one is weaker, but still. I do make the right prediction, go for the sub there, then follow with the Sacred Sword, and I'm definitely able to take the weaker Sucker Punch from the baby, because the second hit from Parental Bond Kangaskhan is always the weaker one, because the baby attacks and it's the weaker one, so I was able to take the +2 Sucker Punch nicely and knock it out with the Sacred Sword. But now in comes the Genesect again, and I'm in this awkward spot where I know he's gonna go for the U-turn. He has the +1 attack, but I need to keep the Keldeo alive, because it's the only thing that can at least speed tie with the Infernape. So I go in my Among Us, because at least I have the Regenerator going on, so I can potentially switch out. But he does go into his Infernape, and at this point I have nothing to take a close combat. Absolutely nothing. So I just kind of need to sack my Among Us here, which is unfortunate, but no can do. So he's going to be able to fire off the close combat, absolutely destroy me. And right here I go into my Keldeo, and I need to make the bold prediction. This is a speed tie, but I'm still predicting that he doesn't want to take it. And I'm predicting him to go into his Celebi instead, because it's a pretty much a 100% counter to my Keldeo. You know, this was a potential speed tie, but I needed to make the bold prediction because I just lost too much momentum, and the Infernape is wrecking everything. But I do make the correct prediction, predicting him to go into Celebi, so I switch out, go into my Heatran, do get off that prediction correctly, and right now I am in a nice spot. I can get some momentum, except not really, because he does get the special defense drop. I was kind of just hoping that I would be able to get off a sub and be in a nice situation where he wouldn't be even able to touch my sub, but thanks to the special defense drop, it's not really the case. But I'm still behind a sub, and one hit is still not going to be able to break my sub, and I'm able to go for the Magma Storm, which I do right here. He does go for the Psychic, does not break my sub, but Magma Storm, which I guess kind of got nerfed in this generation. It's only 100 base power, but still, the nice thing is that the trapping damage does more than it did in the past. 1/8 instead of 1/16, so that's pretty cool. And I went for the Earth Power because I was pretty sure that the Magma Storm damage would knock him out, at least if the Earth Power doesn't, and that is the case. But thanks to the special defense drop, he is able to break my sub, and I didn't want to go for the sub again because I still want to keep my Heatran healthy. Because, you know, I was pretty sure that he would just go into his Rotom Wash, and I still wouldn't be able to do much to it, and then I would have Heatran down on health against the Genesect. And right here I was willing to sack my Excadrill, as I was thinking he would go for the Hydro Pump, but he actually goes for the Thunderbolt, so I do get a chance to knock him out, or at least try to do it, as I go for the Rock Slide. I'm not running Mold Breaker because I'm running Sand Rush with the Hippowdon support with the Sand. And I go for the Rock Slide, doesn't knock it out, doesn't flinch it, and he does land the Hydro Miss, finally, knocking out my Excadrill. But after the Toxic damage, this will be a double knockout. And right here, I'm just gonna pause the video right here, because this right here is a really tricky situation. Both of us are down to our last 2 remaining Mons. It's 2 versus 2, and we just really gotta predict which Pokemon we are going to send out here. And my thought process was, if he goes into his Genesect, I need to respond with Heatran. However, if he goes into his Infernape, I need to respond with Keldeo. Otherwise, I lose, and it's just really, in the end, it's a guessing game. But you know, that's what predicting really is in the end. I guess predicting, you know, is what you refer to as educated guessing. But right here, it's really just 50-50. Which Pokemon are we going to send out? And I decided I would go with my Heatran, predicting him to go into his Choice Scarf Genesect. It's it's generally a good thing that a lot of people do. You know, after the double knockout, you send out your Scarfer. But it really, still in the end, it's a 50-50 play that I make here. And I decided I'm gonna go into my Heatran, and he does go into his Genesect. But still, there is one question. Does he have Thunderbolt to hit me with? That could still do, you know, some nice damage to me. But turns out he doesn't. He doesn't have the Thunderbolt, as he goes for the freaking Bug Buzz. And right here I went for the Earth Power, and honestly I was expecting that it would knock him out. But it doesn't, and let me actually... There we go, after I get my leftovers. I get my leftovers, I don't knock him out, and at this point I realize Bug Buzz was doing below 7%, and I need 25% for my sub. So I have a really good chance here, unless he gets like max damage, I have a really good chance here to get up a substitute, and then I will be in a really good spot against his Infernape. In fact, I'll just make this sub, and I win this game. How awesome is this? Because I know he's locked into Bug Buzz. So I'll just do that. Except he gets a critical hit, and he's able to do 10%. He hits me. I just needed 2% more, but because he got a crit, I am not able to make that sub, which I desperately needed. Because at this point, I am not entirely certain whether his Infernape has Mach Punch or not. If he has Mach Punch, he has the game. But had I been able to make that sub, it would have been my game. But because he gets that critical hit, does 2% more than I wanted him to. He was able to do 2% more. Because of that, I am not able to make the sub and guarantee the match. And now he's gonna be able to go into his Infernape. And if the worst thing comes to worst and he's able to... He has the Mach Punch, he has the game. But if he doesn't have it, this will be a speed tie coming down to my Keldeo and his Infernape. And indeed, he does not have Mach Punch as he goes for the close combat. Locks himself into that. And now it's down to my Keldeo versus Infernape. Speed tie, which one is going to win? And my Keldeo does win the speed tie. I go for the Scald, knock him out, and that will be the game. And that was one heck of a match. Came down to the speed tie between Infernape and Keldeo. I believe both are sitting at 108. Is it speed in the speed tiers? I do believe. But definitely a close match. I really enjoyed this, and just a lot of mind games, so much pressure, and it all came down to basically a coin flip. It could have really just gone either way. I would just really consider this match a tie, because it just came down so close. And the stopping down with the Heatran, I had it, but then it was slipped. It just slipped away. The chances slipped away because of the critical hit. There was a bit of hacks earlier. You know, he got the critical hit on my Among Us. Then there were a couple of Hydro misses on his side. And then there was the critical hit at the end. And then, you know, in the end it came down to a speed tie, which made for a really entertaining match, at least in my opinion. So, really hope you guys enjoyed this battle. I don't know if I should do more post-commentary battles. Maybe every now and then, if I really get a good match like this one, I could do that. But I'm hoping to get back to doing some live Showdown. It's been a while since I've been posting Showdown, because I just kind of wanted to... First off, I wanted to finish off the Kingdom Hearts that was going on, and I did that. And also, a couple of weeks ago, you know, Pokemon Bank finally came out, so I've been actually doing some Wi-Fi battles, so I just haven't felt like doing Showdown. But, you know, I do want to get back into it, because live narrating is fun. And hopefully I'll get that ball rolling again. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will hopefully see you guys soon with more Pokemon X and Y Showdown. Thank you so much for watching. And again, thanks to Kalbur Ezo for the intro, and the Del Rey for the intro music. And I will leave their links in the description, so you can check them out if you so want to. And I will check you guys next time with more Showdown and more shenanigans. We shall see what's gonna happen. Until next time, this is Spade rambling and signing out. Peace!